Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Rants Red Talk, where we discuss all the topics you send through to me on Twitter. And yeah, man, it's mad. It feels like these are not as frequent. I don't know. I put them out last week, but I don't know. I think the time is just going so damn slow. Like, is the time just going so slowly because every day just feels the same that man don't even know what day it is from time to time. You get me? So. I don't know, but I hope you lot are keeping well on that. Big up everyone that's fasting as well. Hope it's going well. You get me? And I don't know. I wouldn't say we're getting back to normal because we're not probably going to be back to normal till the start of next year. But I don't know. Certain people are starting to have to go back to work. The Premier League is coming back next month, so they've said. So it'll be interesting to see the developments on that. Obviously, my opinion on that I gave on the Flex and Rant show. So yeah, if you're not sure, make sure you go check that out. But you should already know how I feel about it. All right, going into your topics. The first one is from @jcash and then bare numbers. Do you think Rashford is starting to become overrated by the British media? Is the prime reason for why, especially English but British players don't fulfill their potential because of the hype put on them, e.g. Ross Barkley? I think that's a factor. I think that's a big factor. I think a lot of these British players think they're better than they are, innit? And it does come from the media. Also comes from our own fans as well, because I think the expectation from our fans are so low. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're Brazilian, you don't get overrated as a Brazilian for doing basic stuff. Like, I can't remember I think it was Xavi that came out and he said in England, yeah, people just get called a legend for just doing the basics right. Like, nah, to be a legend in football, you have to be more than that. Do you know what I mean? And I think in England, players just get overrated for basic things. Like, loads of guys, yeah, like, I grew up watching, like, prime, like, 90s Italian football, which is the best era, like, of football like there's probably ever been, in it, like best there's ever been in terms of the quality and depth for every team. And I always compare football, yeah, in my head to that. I always do, in it, like the quality and depth, bro. Like when man was growing up watching like the Batistuters, the George Weahs and all them man there, bro, like some real bad man strikers. And then some of the guys people talk about now, I'm thinking they couldn't even lace these guys' boots. When I see Rashford, I see a good player. That's all I see. Do you know what I mean? He'll score great goals every now and then, but the way these men talk about him, like, I joke and I was like, yeah, Ronaldo and that. But when I say that, yeah, I'm saying that very tongue-in-cheek and I'm saying that just messing around. It's not serious. You see stats floating around online and people comparing Ronaldo and Rashford at the same age. Ronaldo was playing in a 4-4-2, yeah, as a winger and scoring goals. Rashford's been playing the majority of his career as a striker. And even in a 4-3-3, he's still a striker, but he's a wide forward, innit? So he's still a striker. Ronaldo's position was completely different. Ronaldo's makeup of his game was completely different. Do you know what I mean? So comparing Ronaldo to Rashford shows, yeah, how little these men know about football and also how deluded these men are. He's nowhere near him at that age, not even close, innit? Forget what the numbers tell you, bro. Like, the eye test is enough, innit? What Ronaldo was doing to man was frightening. Not just the free kicks, the way he would take players on, go past them, the way he would just demand the ball and just be eating, man. It's different, innit? It's not even close. So he's definitely overrated, bruv. Like, and when I was getting onto him when he was playing up front, yeah, it's because the basics of holding the ball up he wasn't doing, innit? And it doesn't matter what level of football you've played at. Holding up the ball's the same, innit? Agallo does it very well because he's a proper number 9, innit? I've always stressed that Rashford ain't a number 9, and he's proven that. And what will happen is he'll do a flip-flap, or he'll do like one bit of skill and go past someone, and people will forget about the other 8 times, yeah, that he tried to do it and he lost the ball. And that football fans are fickle like that. That's what happens in football. A lot of the time, like, if man does a skill, they'll replay it a million times, but then all the times that man lost the ball trying to go past someone, they'll forget that because man done one skill. Like, it's not about that. Like, Ronaldo's take on completion percentage, most of the time when Ronaldo went at a man, he went past him, like almost effortlessly every time. it was very rare that Ronaldo got tackled. Like, it just didn't really happen. If Ronaldo decided he was running at you, he was going past you, innit? Didn't matter who you were. Ashley Cole's the only defender that made Ronaldo have to pass the ball because he frustrated him. But other than that, Ronaldo had man on toast every game, innit? So the comparisons are a joke, innit? And that's what, innit? It's no disrespect to Rashi. Do you know what I mean? But there's levels to football. I'll always say it because I think that that's the truest thing ever said. There's levels to this football thing. And I think English players get compared to man that they have no business being compared to. Pep Guardiola famously said, he said like we've got 100 Jack Wilshers in the academy when they asked him about Jack Wilshere when he was at Barcelona. And that's what it is. I think the level of football in this country has been so low in terms of the quality that they've produced in players. It's been so low for such a long time now that, do you know what I'm saying? That these men don't actually know what quality is. They see the basics as quality, when really in another country, that's the bare minimum you would expect. Do you know what I mean? If you go to Italy, Holland, France, you go in the second, third division, you can find a Declan Rice in there. Do you know what I mean? And players of that ilk. Do you know what I mean? Players that are like, they're in the England squad. They're not seen as the top players. And that's not a disrespect to Declan. He's just the first one that came to my head. They're in the England squad. They're not seen as the top players. But, like, they're seen, you know what I mean? Like the Loftus-Cheeks of this world and all them, man. They're in the Hudson-Odois and that. They're good ballers. Do you know what I'm saying? But there's ballers in other countries that ain't even playing in the top league, bro. That are as talented, if not more talented than these men, bro. It's just that they've got more quality and depth as a country, as a nation, innit? Here, like, it's improving over the years, but come on, bruv. Like, even in the golden generation of, like, the Terrys, the Ferdinands and all that, yeah? That's probably the most quality and depth England have ever had. Do you know what I mean? The strikers, when you had Rooney, Defoe, like them man there, bro. Like, they had 4 or 5 strikers. Now, man have Tammy Abraham and Calvert-Lewin and Marcus Rashford, if man want to class him as a striker. There ain't no quality and depth there, bro. It's shambolic, bro, when you compare the generations. So it's just one of them ones, bro. Like, I could talk about this for the whole video, to be completely honest. So I'm going to move on. But guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. Next one's from @Abraham 0009-873. I don't know why you man got bare numbers, bro. You think Fred is a starter in a title-winning team? I think if United are challenging in 2-3 years' time, he'd be a very good squad player, but not a starter if we were where we were supposed to be. Here's where I need to stop you, bro, because I saw the stats the other day. Someone's tagged me in it. I think it's Statman Baines or something, of Gini Wijnaldum's stats compared to Fred's. And Fred shits on him everywhere but goals, innit? Shits on him everywhere but goals. Gini Wijnaldum starts in a title-winning team and a Champions League winning team. So why can't Fred? People's perception, yeah, that you have to be an absolute worldie, yeah, to be in. No, you just have to do your job. Under Sir Alex Ferguson, Manchester United had a lot of players that just did their job. Like, not every player in the squad was a worldie, bro. Do you know what I mean? But Fred, at what he does in football, he's as good as anyone. High energy, pressing, breaking up the play, playing the simple pass and playing the simple forward pass at that. Not just winning the ball, then passing it sideways. So, at what Fred does in the game, there's not many in Europe here that you can say, yo, like, I get what Fred gives me plus goals as well. Like, no, bruv. Like, Fred's not a goal-scoring midfielder, so because of that, I don't judge him on goals. But what he does, in terms of interceptions, turnovers, whatever, he's always the highest on the pitch, on either side, regardless of who we play. So, Fred could start for Manchester United in a title-winning team quite comfortably. Like, there's nothing... Do you know what I mean? If Gini could start for Liverpool, Fred could start for United, because Fred's better than him. He is. And the numbers don't lie. Their jobs for their teams are quite similar. They're similar in stature. They're both very small, probably about 5'7", 5'8". Do you know what I'm saying? They're mobile. And Fred's numbers piss on his. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like the system that Gini's in allows him, do you know what I mean, to look as good as he is. Not that I don't think he's a good player, because he is a good player. But People underrate how good Fred is because he's not in a system and in a team that's actually making him look good. He's making himself look good. He's making himself look good. Do you know what I mean? Because we don't really have a system right now. And Fred's just running around, just tackling everyone. You know what I mean? And initiating presses and dictating like the energy and the tempo of the team, bro. I think it's very hard to do. I think that what he's done is understated in the team. So this notion that Fred can't start in a title winning team is absolute nonsense, guys. Now, let me know what you think to that in the comments. Okay, it says Prince V88 Prince Vegeta. It says everyone says the Premier League is the hardest league, but why does the media and the fans and pundits always think that the most top players abroad will struggle in the Premier League and most of them turn out to be the best in the league? Because they're arrogant, bruv. That's why. Bear man think that the Premier League's so difficult and this, that and the other. Bro, it ain't like. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just different. It's not hard. It's just different, bro. The reason why people find it harder to adapt, yeah, is because football on the continent is very similar, innit? Very similar. Like whether you go from Spain to France to Sweden to Germany, if you play in like mainland Europe, yeah, the leagues are more technical, less physical, and more tactical as well. Do you know what I mean? So it used to be more tactical. Nowadays, the Premier League, I wouldn't say it's more tactical, but I say there's more teams that try and stifle you and play negatively in it. But you know what's mad, yeah? Like in England, teams play more different styles of football, so it means you have to prepare individually for each team. Also, teams are more physical, so teams that can't match you technically will try and bully you physically, innit? And I know from playing in Sweden, yeah, like, bruv, even our goalkeepers had tech, bruv. Like, I don't know if I've told you this before, but we used to play pig, yeah, and it was like 2-touch up in the air, and then obviously the people that drop the ball first end up on the goal line. You have to pull down your shorts, and man are smashing footballs at you, innit? And I never went on the goal line. Like, literally, that was my game. More often than not, I won it. And if I didn't win it, I was in the top 2, innit? Like, so that was my game, innit? And, bro, like, the goalkeepers, a lot of the time, were never on the line. I don't remember a time where the goalkeeper was on the line, bro. Some of the goalkeepers had better touches than the centre-backs and that, bro. Like, technically, across the whole team, the level of technique, yeah, on the continent is just way higher, bro. Way higher. That's why you see when Edison comes to England and everyone's so surprised that the goalkeepers got feet like that. But, bruv, when you go to the continent, most of these goalkeepers got feet, bruv. It's only English goalkeepers that never had no feet and are now trying to learn how to play with their feet. But on the continent, these men been playing with their feet, bruv. You look at the distribution. Remember when Pepe Reina was at Liverpool and he was doing that little half volleyed pass, like past the halfway line, bro. Like, these men been having techers, you know. It's only in England, everything's just behind. That's all it is. So these players have to adjust to the physical nature of the Premier League. But technically, they come in and they're the best player in their team. And Ndombele came to Tottenham and technically one of the best players at the club. Probably the best player at the club in terms of techers straight away. But the physical nature of the Premier League, his body's adjusting to it, so he's getting a few injuries. Loads of players. So when they say, they're going to struggle in the Premier League, they might struggle with the pace of it. But once they deal with the pace of it, the actual overall quality of the Premier League, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Because there's a lot of players in the Prem that are very good athletes, but they're not technically very good ballers. At a lot of football clubs. A lot of football clubs, bro. Do you know what I mean? Not necessarily the top 6, but outside of the top 6, there's bare amazing athletes at these clubs that are dead ballers or mediocre ballers. They're not that good, guys. So it is just arrogance. It's kind of like, is our things the best? Do you know what I mean? Like, these man can't do it here. Can you do it in a cold night in Stoke, bruv? A lot of man can do it in a cold night in Stoke, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Even guys like Bojan, who was playing flipping at Barcelona and that, and they thought, oh yeah, he's going to struggle in the Prem, and he didn't. Do you know what I mean? Hatem Ben Arfa, flair player, man were like, oh yeah, he can't do all them tricks here, bruv. And then man scoring goals from running behind the halfway line. Bruv, listen, yeah. Like, the Prem's harder to deal with on a physical standpoint, but a technical standpoint, yeah, it's not better than La Liga. Do you know what I'm saying? You can watch a team that's bottom of the Liga and they'll bop the ball better than teams that are bottom of the flipping Premier League. Sunderland never played good football when they were there. West Brom didn't play good football. Bruv, you go watch Spain, yeah? Even the second division in Spain, bruv, you got teams that play better football than the bottom half of the Premier League table, bruv. So that's an absolute myth, and that just comes down to mad arrogance. And last but not least, it says RvP or Rooney. For RvP was the better player. But I think you've answered it then, my guy. I think you've answered it. For me, anyone that knows what kind of players I like, how I like football to be played, how I think football should be played, everyone knows I'm picking Van Persie. Van Persie's my favourite Manchester United striker of my lifetime. He is. Him and Ruud van Nistelrooy. The reason why I give it to Van Persie is because not only was Ruud was a notcher, yeah, but Van Persie had the flair as well as the techers. You know them ones. Like Ruud had mad tech. People forget, yeah, that Ruud van Nistelrooy, like not only did he score that goal against Fulham from behind the halfway line, but there was a goal against FC Basel, I think it was, where he kind of shimmied and then he was like on the line. And then he whipped it in at the back post and that, bruv. And then there was another goal against Deportivo where the ball came over his shoulder and he just touched it over the keeper. Like, Ruud had mad finesse, you know, mad tech. But because he was so physically strong, 6 foot and built like a brick shithouse, yeah? Like, people forget how technical Ruud was, blood. I'm talking about Ruud van Nistelrooy in the Vapors, blood. Before man started wearing the Tempos, blood. If man know about football boots, then you know, innit? Ruud in the Tempos. When the legend, no, in the Vapors. When he used to wear the grey and red Vapors that Henry used to wear and that, bruv. Ruud in the Vapors, yeah, was moving mad. Holding the ball up, whatever. You weren't just bursting the back of the net. But you see Van Persie, when he wraps his left foot around that football, it's something beautiful, blood. That the ball just sings, innit? Like, Van Persie's a joke. Like, Van Persie never had bad games, bruv. He don't have a bad game. He might have a quiet game, but his touch is always on point. His movement's always on point. He strikes the ball cleanly every time. Van Persie don't scuff shots. Everything he does is just majestic, bro. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And for me, like, you know what I mean? It's one of my unpopular opinions. Like, I never rated Wayne Rooney that highly. Like, I only did for like 2 or 3 seasons. I think the Wayne Rooney that I saw, like in 2004, probably to about 2008, I'll say 4 years, 3-4 years, that Wayne Rooney, I had time for. And then Wayne Rooney stopped looking after himself, lost a half a yard of pace and that. His touch was all over the place and that. Like, I've never seen a decline in the career quicker than Wayne Rooney. Probably only Fernando Torres. I don't know what happened with Torres. I think the injuries and the confidence done him. But Rooney, his touch was all over the place a lot of the time. And as soon as he lost a bit of pace, he was relying on pinging 60-yard balls and that, like he was a CM and that. And he's a striker. Like, I don't care if my striker can ping the ball 60 yards, bro. Like, I need you to be able to go past players, get the ball out of your feet, score goals and that. And for me, when I look at Rooney's European record, I think Wayne Rooney's got something like 30 goals in Europe in 12 years. 30 Champions League goals in 12 years, bruv. Ruud van Nistelrooy scored more Champions League goals than Wayne Rooney, yeah, in 4 seasons. 4.5 seasons than Wayne Rooney scored in 12. Like, to me, them man ain't on the same planet as finishers. They're not in it. I think that Wayne Rooney was been massively overrated. Yes, he's Manchester United's all-time top scorer, but I think longevity has a lot to do with that. Because when you look at goals scored, he didn't score. He averaged, how much did he average? He averaged under 20 goals a season. He averaged under 20 goals a season. And I don't know if we've released it already, but on the United stand, even Andy Cole said, right, as a striker, yeah, nowadays they're talking about these strikers like they're great, bruv, because they scored 20 goals. But that was the bare minimum you were expected to score in his time. If you scored less than 25 goals a season, you couldn't be seen as an elite player in Andy Cole's time. That's what he said. Do you know what I'm saying? And for me, that's what it was. We started playing Rooney in midfield and all them to shoehorn him into the team because he wasn't good enough to play up front anymore. But no one wants to have that conversation. Last day of the season, a quick quiz question that I got right here. when we done the quiz on Saturday, Wayne Rooney, Sir Alex Ferguson's last game did not play. Wayne Rooney went in the squad because Ferguson was going to sell him because he said, yo, he's finished. He's finished as a top-level striker. Then David Moyes gave him a new contract. Then we saw LVG playing him in midfield. And then Rooney was scoring penalties and stuff like that to get his goals up. But really, like, as like an out-and-out striker finisher and that, Wayne Rooney ain't levels for Robin Van Persie. He's not, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? He's not. He never was. And he weren't levels for Ruud van Nistelrooy either, bro. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people won't want to hear that because there's a lot of nostalgia attached to Wayne Rooney. But, yeah, I mean, Wayne Rooney was a scorer of great goals, yeah? But he only had one season where the goal scoring was a mazza. I think he had 130 goal season. And that was the season after Ronaldo left or something like that. I remember Valencia was just whipping in crosses and Rooney was getting on the end of them and that. But someone like a Robin Van Persie will get you 30 goals every season. Someone like Ruud van Nistelrooy will get you 30 goals every season. Do you know what I mean? And that's the difference in the levels. It's just like a Kun Aguero and a Wayne Rooney, bruv. Kun Aguero's a level above Rooney. Do you know what I mean? Man can say, yeah, Rooney could do more things. Yeah, he could ping a 60-yard pass, bruv. But when you're a striker, man have to judge you on goal scoring, do you know what I mean, and overall performance, bro. So for me, I don't think it's close, innit? Like, not everyone will agree. A lot of people think that Rooney's way better than he was. I genuinely don't. I think that Rooney's passion and because he ran around and he tried, a lot of people rated him higher. Because when I was growing up, Batistuta was one of my favourite strikers. Del Piero, do you know what I mean? And for me, when I see the tech that Del Piero had, Rooney didn't have Del Piero techers. He didn't. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know, bruv. Like, that's just my opinion, guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, you might agree, you might not. If you don't agree, tell me why you don't agree in the comment section. You know what I mean? You don't need to get disrespectful. That's just my opinion. I think that Wayne Rooney is overrated. I do. But that's because I'm comparing him to elite level strikers that I grew up watching, idolizing and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I compare Wayne Rooney to like a Thierry Henry in his prime, Wayne Rooney went nowhere near Thierry Henry in his prime, bruv. Nowhere near, in my opinion. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. Different kind of player. Rooney might have scored more volleys, or maybe Rooney scored more goals that looked good, but Thierry Henry was just a level above, man. Do you know what I mean? Aguero, level above. Luis Suarez, level above. So, yeah, let me know, guys. That was your Rants Red Talk. Big up for all your questions. Make sure you keep it interactive. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Follow me up on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. If you're not following the Twitch, it's Rants and Bants official. Man's playing Fortnite with you lot and also Red Dead Redemption 2. So, mad love. And, yeah, I'll catch you for another one soon.